Pictures in money have worked as a cultural sledgehammer to the society. Profile picture of a king and fitting gods on the other side. That cements the rulers in history books. Here is a Finnish Markka from 1964. It was an era of Finlandization, and in Finland, left-wing dominated culture and politics that fetishized Soviet Union. But in this new coinage, there's a hidden right-wing message that Marxist forces overlooked. See those weird Y-shaped crosses? Those are branches of a conifer tree. During the Finnish Civil War in 1918, a group of Jägers, patriotic Finnish volunteers that trained in Germany, returned to fight the Reds. They wore this conifer tree branch in their hats as a sign of being brothers in arms. The Reds lost their civil war, and thus Finland never became part of the Soviet Russia. Rulers, through time, have understood the power of coinage and the power of monetary policy. Monetary policy yields more power in macroeconomics than fiscal policy. This is a lesson that Finnish politicians never learned. Finnish rulers have always been clueless when it comes to monetary policy. That is why they have given it away to European Central Bank, and the currency of Finland is euro. Despite wars, the most severe currency crisis happened in the early 1990s. The collapse of the Soviet Union led to trade imbalance. The households and companies were in heavy debt that was in foreign currency. The currency, Markka, did not have a floating exchange rate. It was artificially held high, although devalued a couple of times. In the end, when Markka became floating currency, it sunk in value and the economy started to finally recover. Before that, everything had to culminate into one of the worst economic recessions of Finland. Of course, this currency disbalance brought financial institutions from USA to exploit this horrible situation. One of them being our favorite Nazi collaborator, George Soros. He shot it against Finnish Markka, knowing that devaluation was inevitable, and made big bucks with our foolish Finnish politicians. George Soros would do this again to many other countries in 1990s. It was a crushing time to the common people, because in Finland the debt was not forgiven. Only way out was dying. The Social Democratic Party had a great idea to sell this private debt to global private investors. So when someone with this crushing debt finally died, these foreign financial institutions took their fair share of what little was left in the will. My earliest childhood memory of watching the news comes from this era. I can still remember the unemployed protesting outside our parliamentary building with their mock hangings. One man takes the noose around his neck, but quickly puts it away, being afraid that someone might actually hang him. So with this tragedy of Markka, there was a utopian idea of common European currency, euro, and thus Finland became euro country little over a decade later. It did not happen with popular vote, but by our wise politicians deciding this matter by themselves. They understood, once again, very little about currency and monetary policy. Couple of decades later, Finland, as the only Nordic country with euro, has been left behind with them when it comes to several economic key numbers. We are in heavy debt, and we have faced a lost decade, maybe two, like Japan. Once again, our politicians will hold on to their poor cards and see this bet through. At what cost will it be this time? And will they finally start to understand what is monetary policy?